you will basically end up moving to Africa, or like that's where the life will continue
So you
going.
said like, okay, wait, start from the beginning. I just started a new recording. You said that the races will all
Dude, I'm about to go to sleep, so fucking
white people
doesn't
will
matter.
go extinct. White people will
Yeah,
go.
eventually, after like some hundreds of years.
Why?
Why? I don't know, but it is, I think, if I remember correctly, the fact is that it is the smallest or one of the smallest races right now. And
Wait, what?
yeah, population wise,
But what are they? What are they fucking counting in white? Like, who is the white people?
like,
Does Georgian people count as white?
yeah,
Does Persian people count as white?
probably, yeah.
Do Arabs count as white?
I don't know. Why you're asking me? I don't count
Then
that.
how the fuck are Chinese people count as white or no?
No, no, no. That's the wrong race.
Okay.
Yeah. So there is like three or four or five different races. I don't remember.
No, they're not. But we
Uh,
can say that.
no, no, no. In that
Oh, I see. I see.
theory, is that the biggest ones will become bigger
Mhm.
eventually
Mhm.
by excluding the smallest ones, because they will just not be able to reproduce at the same rates, and there will be more diversity and more like mixing, and then eventually it will lead to just like bigger chunk taking bigger, like mixing with everyone else, and the majority of that, and then like
Makes
projection of
sense.
like, African population is gonna go very very far and very fast, and that's gonna be like the biggest race on the world, on the planet Earth. So that one will be mixing more with everyone else, and then again the smallest one has least chances to survive because it needs to mix with itself in the first place, and that's like
But it doesn't. They mix, intermix. That's
yeah,
how
yeah.
it's always been.
What most likely exactly is going to be happening is intermixes, and that's why it will like you know mix with other races. That's
Hmm.
everything becomes this combination, and then it leads to slightly darker colors, very dark colors,
I'm
and
just gonna
things like that.
disprove this theory just in 1 second.
Okay.
If we all came from Africa
Yeah.
and we were all black, and there's so many white people now, then this is gonna happen again. Something's gonna happen.
Yeah. Well, look. Here's the
So
point.
they're never gonna be extinct because some fucking mutation is gonna put them. And then guess what? Oh, everyone's fucking black, but this guy's white. I won't have children with him. So he gets like, so it's just gonna
Look.
repeat, dude. Repeat, repeat,
Yeah,
repeat.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Eventually, it will. But in the near future, that's where things are gonna
And
like
what is
get.
the fucking near future?
That was like 300 or 400 years, I think.
Okay, 300 or 400. Does it mean that there's gonna be no white people, or it's gonna be some, but it's gonna be like less?
No white, or close to no white.
That's bullshit though, because in
Why?
Africa there are white Africans right now.
Okay. So
Okay,
what?
so there's never gonna be no whites.
Okay, but like very, very, very
Okay,
small
yeah,
amount.
that
Do you
makes sense.
understand? That's the whole point.
But
Like
then they're more precious. Then they're
here and
more
there.
precious.
Yeah.
Like imagine like in
Look,
Iraq.
here's the point. Okay, this guy that came from Malay,
Uh huh.
we talked with him, and literally, this is what he was saying. He's like, because people are like mixing in with each other, there is really no more white. There is like light brown, darker brown, and things like
Yeah,
that,
makes
because
sense. Makes sense.
more and more people, and there's not only white and black. There's
So
so
much in
many more
between.
other races.
Makes sense.
So everything mixes, and everything, like, you understand, if you have this range different types of people, you mix them, the range eventually becomes smaller.
Not true.
How is that not true? If you mix
Um.
everyone
No, no,
together,
no, no. Let me
then
make it make sense
then
for you.
the smallest chunks will become smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller eventually, because they have to mix with the ones that you can meet more frequently, or that there's more of them, and
Be-
like on average, it's kind of like there is like a higher chance of the ones that you meet the most like
Y-
frequently. It mixes
yeah.
it for everyone else.
Okay, sure, sure, but that does not mean that the range of genetic diversity gets smaller.
No, I didn't say that.
But you're saying the color gets like more. What are you saying? You mean the range is getting smaller? What does the
Uh,
Yes, everyone is becoming more mixed, but that means that you have the whitest whites and now you have the blackest blacks, but you have everything in between also. And that will never disappear, kind of.
yeah,
Yeah.
but there is. It's a question of like amount, like
Mm-hmm.
how much amount you have of like, let's say, black people at a certain time,
Mm-hmm.
and then if you start mixing them with other races, you have like 1,000 of black people, and everyone else has like 50. You mix them enough together, all together, there's gonna be more black people than, and there's gonna be less of others. You understand? If you put
Mm-hmm.
it the other way around, if you put 1,000 Chinese people and everyone else you put 50, 50, 50, in the long after like long enough time, there's gonna be more Chinese people. Like after all, do you understand?
Yeah, it's basically a problem of dilution, basically. It's like,
It's
okay, if
not
you
a
have like
problem. It's
if you
not a
have
problem.
thousands of no, I'm just not I'm still not saying problem, but like scientifically this is a problem. Like you want to solve it, like what will happen? So if you mix 1,000 molecules of water with like 50 sugar, of course there's gonna be more water, but there's still sugar in there, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. But the point is,
So
my point was,
they're not
I
gonna be really
saw,
Chinese anyways.
yeah, 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 yeah.
They're
But
gonna be
it's
some.
mixed. It's a mixed race. That's the whole
Uh-huh.
point. But it has more characteristics that are, closer to this specific race. You understand? It's not fully Chinese,
Yeah,
but it
okay, you're
has.
saying the pure bread will not be left anymore. Yes, of course. There's no pure bread anymore.
Anyway, the point is, everyone's
Yeah.
mixing like fucking crazy,
Uh-huh.
and then this is what I think in the end. If people mix with each other as much as possible and as often as possible, the final outcome is that people will be very, very close, kind of towards how they look. Do you understand?
Mm,
Here's what I'm saying. Here's just what I'm saying. You put 5 different countries, and everyone mixes only with themselves. You'll have 5 different types all the time. They only mix with themselves, no one else.
mhm.
There will always remain 5 different types. If you make everyone, they cannot reproduce with their own race. You have to do it with someone else. Just set that as a rule. And
Mhm.
you mix everyone, eventually, after a long enough time, all of them are gonna more or less look the same because it has the same kind of. You understand?
Mhm.
It's almost like mixing one race, but you're just mixing 5. It just takes long enough.
Dude, yeah, yeah, no, I'm just thinking in terms of colors. Okay, if you put like yellow, blue, and like red, and like, 5 colors,
Yeah.
and if you keep them separate, they're separate. If you mix them, they're not going to be blue or black. They're just all going to be brown, kind of,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
But that's where the similarities stop. Because now, when you mix everything with everything,
Hmm.
they're not all going to become black. There's going to be
Hmm.
a black person with blonde hair, and there's going to
Yeah,
be.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
So
everyone's going to look super
stop there.
different.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, you're going to have like blue eyed people with like black hair, and you're going to have.
You'll have variety. You have a lot of
Yeah,
variety.
yeah, variety, yeah. And they're not going to look African, and they're not going to look white. They're just going to be a mix of everything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But and that theory was about is that
There's not going to be
after
pures anymore. Yeah, of course.
after like a certain amount of time,
Uh-huh.
300 or 400 years, everyone's gonna mix so much that there's no gonna be just like a white person as you know today,
Makes sense, makes sense.
because that's the smallest race population wise or the size wise. So
Yeah.
that's the whole
But
theory.
but
That's the whole
but, but
point.
that's the thing, as this thing progresses, and there will be less and less white people. Well, guess what? The white people are gonna do. You know, So
Start more wars and capture more shit.
yeah, and have as many children as possible. So this is kind of what has been all the time, right? So
Yeah.
the rules change, but if you put
Well,
those rules, then of course that's gonna happen, right? But that's not what it is in the reality. So,
yeah,
anyways,
I don't
dude.
know. I just told you what
Mhm.
I saw somewhere.
No,
So
I mean this what you're saying is true, and it could be 100% right, and it is. I'm just saying like why it can be different. That's what I'm saying. I mean what you're saying is true, but it could be also different because of this. Anyways, are you ready to cut it?
look, it's all about the variables and
Exactly. What they will do in the future.
what's gonna happen and how it's gonna
Yeah.
happen and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like
If everything
it
intermixes
goes
with no
back to the
rules, yeah.
survival and all those things. Because
Uh-huh.
if all of a sudden you cannot live anywhere in the north because of XYZ reasons, and now anyone and everyone can live in like southern parts of the world,
Uh-huh.
well, where are people gonna move? They're all gonna move there,
Yeah.
and that creates this new environment where new rules, different life, different type of everything,
Yeah.
right? Let's
Yeah.
say that doesn't happen, and everyone has to move to the north. So it's all
No, you're right.
the point is we
This
just
goes
don't
back
know.
to the thing that we said, like if you have children and now it's only your children, but like in thousands of years now your children will be super different.
Yeah, yeah,
Because some of them will have lived in the mountains and some of them will have lived in the sea.
yeah, and they'll have different accents now. They'll
Languages
speak
maybe.
languages,
Languages,
and
yes.
they're gonna be like, "What the fuck? Like, who are you? You're different from me.
Yeah.
You're my enemy now."
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
so
it.
that's why I kind of see it kind of pointless now to have like super many children. Like, okay, what's the end goal? Like, okay, they're gonna become
In
enemies.
the short term, you will do thing for your ego.
Yeah, but I'm over
But
that.
in
I
the
think,
long run, you don't even know what's the point.
dude, that's the thing I'm saying with this. Like, it's cool to have these discussions with yourself first, and then with other. Because now I feel like I don't have that urge to have like thousands of children. Maybe two is enough, in a way, because I thought about it and I took the experiment to the like future, right? And you're like,
Yeah.
okay, if I have this drive and I make 10 children, well, of course they're gonna also want to make 10, so it's gonna be like full of Adrians, right? But like, okay, what the fuck is the point? Because now there's an Adrian in the south and there's a north, and he has lived in this community of like tribal for like thousands of years, and there was that environmental thing where the whites survived. So it's gonna be this shit all over again. Okay, who cares? And guess what? Yes, I was the origin, but they had so many mutations that they're further apart from each other than they're from me.
Yep.
So it's like,
Yeah.
dude, like,
Yeah.
fuck it.
Exactly. Listen, I thought about this, and I thought about how I do have, like cousins or whatever, literally living somewhere. I don't even know them, but I know that they are
Yes,
there.
of course.
And the point is, at some point,
They will
you
not
go
know
back
each
in
other. Yeah,
time, and there's this
yep,
grandma
yep,
or
yep, yep.
grandpa, and
Which
they're
is in
like,
Africa.
"Oh man, I had this many, like kids,
Yeah,
and like they're gonna like
yep.
thrive, and all this is gonna happen." Now we got to this point. I don't even know where they are. I don't even know who they are. Listen, it might be the neighbor next door, literally,
Yeah,
or it might
yeah,
be a guy that now lives in United States, and I
yeah.
just met him when he was the Uber driver. I was like, "What the fuck? What's up?" And he's like, "I
Or
don't."
someone you even like fight. I was gonna say kill. You didn't kill him, but
Yeah,
like someone who kills someone. Maybe that
yeah,
was like a cousin, which is not maybe like 100%. It's just like how long ago,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Literally, that's why
Bullshit thing.
it's such a brain fuck. Like, yeah.
Like
So
it makes me like want to have children just to grow like good people, not to like reproduce like have many like that.
yeah,
That's already fucked up because if I have more children, let's say over 10, okay, I will not even have time for them, like
yeah,
enough to,
yeah,
which is what you and my dad even said, you know and it's true. Like then it's about quality, because in quantity you don't have any, like in this case
yeah.
it's fucked. It's just no point. There's no point. You don't get like, because I have a better relationship with you because we talk more than I would have had with like hundreds of people if I had like 1 minute with each.
Yep, yep. True.
At some point, if I want to even feed my ego, it's better to have one successful children than like thousands of random, one success.
Yeah. Yeah,
because
yeah.
now it's personal. Because that successful, I invested everything into it. So yeah. Anyways, are you ready to cut it, bro?
Yeah, I can. I am, and also don't raise your children on your own ego, because that's gonna fuck them up the most. They need to feel like a free person. You understand? You can't be
Yeah.
like putting your own ego and your own aspirations and goals onto them. That's gonna fuck them up.
No, you're
Literally,
right.
that's the worst thing
But
to do.
that's but my aspiration is for them to be free. So that's gonna probably fuck them up too, right? I will literally make them like make their own food when they're like 5. So that might like push. So that's the thing.
Right. When your child is born, give him my phone number in case he gets into trouble. He'll know who to call, because the dad is playing fucking strategy games. Motherfucker, gonna cook your own food. You're the king.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Fucking take whatever. You're too young to have kids anyway. You didn't even lose your virginity yet, so work on that
anyways,
first.
anyways, hey, super cool to talk to you. Fucking sad
Dude,
that we lost some
6%
hours,
left on my battery. And we talked for like 4.5 hours now.
and we lost 2 hours. I'm so sad. We
5.5 hours.
had so fucking that discussion. Those are the discussions literally belong in my memories. That's where they should.
Belong on the Netflix episodes. Dude, when are we starting the podcast that is called Truth Seekers?
Oh, I love that name.
Yeah, I love that name too. I have a story to say how I like. Dude, the only fucking thing in life that makes sense is to literally question everything and literally figure out what the hell is going on
Yeah,
with yourself, with the world, with everything else. You need to know the truth no matter what, and that's the only thing you can base
yeah,
things on to get somewhere. If you just base everything on lies and illusions, nothing works. Nothing works. You can get lucky, casino wins, but nothing works.
yeah.
So,
Dude, on there's like the American presidential flags and stuff, and the universities they have this thing called there's this Latin words that means "let there be light."
mhm.
That's that's what you're saying. Let there be light, because in darkness we cannot see, and darkness is lack of knowledge. That's
Mm,
what it means. Let there be fucking light.
nice.
Do you understand?
Oh,
And this is
nice.
something people understood back then. That's why we grew, and we are here.
Yeah,
Let there be fucking light. Truth seekers. Truth is the ultimate. And what is truth? Truth is knowledge, right? So,
yeah.
so yeah, dude. No, truth seekers. That's an amazing name. I mean, yeah.
You said this phrase,
Uh huh.
"seek truth," some hours ago when we spoke.
Uh huh.
So that's what I'm saying.
Dude, wait. Let me see
If
this
we,
for the last thing.
if we
Um,
are starting the podcast, we should be called Truth Seekers.
I love that name, dude.
I like
Either,
that name.
yeah, yeah, like either that or like freedom seekers. Like I changed my Instagram name to Adrian Be Free, um, because it just connected with me, I guess.
Mm,
And also, the word it can either be free like me or be free, which means be free other people.
yeah,
You understand?
yeah, yeah,
So when I said it, I was like, wait, that also means that. So, like, I want to be free, and I also want to be free other people with knowledge and
yeah,
money,
yeah.
and I don't fucking know with what, but
Yeah.
um, let light shine out the darkness. That's in Genesis. That's let there be light. That's what God said, and I
Bro,
wanted Latin.
bro, 5% remaining. I gotta peace out.
Yeah. Hey, super cool, and we will start that thing. I don't think it should be a podcast, or it can be a podcast, but it should be like what Rogan is doing. He perfected it, like
Dude,
clips of different like discussions, and then
I don't care about that at all. To be very honest,
yeah.
I know that I should do SEO YouTube, and I know that I should do a
Oh
Facebook
yeah.
group
Oh yeah.
on
100%.
for SEO.
But these are like, dude.
Really want to put the focus on, and that's where I want to do
Oh yeah,
things.
you're joking, right? Like, of course. I'm just
Where
saying.
when if you want to do something here, just record them, upload them. Nobody's gonna watch them. That's how it's gonna go.
Yeah, dude. I'm literally like putting this. I think because we have lost so many cool discussions because we don't have those girl discussions anymore, and I feel like they're lost. Like they're gonna be lost forever. Like how
Yeah,
they work and how they and that I don't want to feel like that. I want to have these recordings somewhere, like just
yeah.
store them.
Just
So
upload them to YouTube, and they're gonna be there forever.
yeah, I have them on my Google Drive. I bought this like $10 thing, which is amazing. You get like unlimited cloud drive. Yep,
On Google,
yep.
how did you get that deal?
Dude, you just subscribe to the $10 thing, and then you you have a business account now. Which means, by the way, when I was researching this for my business, I learned a lot. When you have that,
10 a
you
month?
10 a month.
Ah,
Um,
okay.
so if you have like a normal account, you can get locked out and you lose all of your data, and there's no way of getting it back. 4%.
4%.
Yeah. You will never get it back, but when you have a business account, now they have a responsibility for your data, so you will never lose them, and you will have like access to it. And there's like a drive folder which you can download, so whatever you don't use, it uploads to the cloud and it doesn't take place on your computer. And this is just like some benefits. And then you get something called the shared drive. And the shared drive, you can have up to 400,000 files.
Okay.
So basically unlimited, because you can have unlimited shared drives.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a cool thing for you. Anyways,
All right. Awesome stuff, dude. Great talking to you. Take care. Send updates. I hope everything's gonna be good. I'm gonna go to
also,
sleep.
окей. Спокойной
Yeah.
ночи. Увидимся, когда увидимся.
Take care. Peace. Bye bye,
Peace
man.
out. Bye bye.